Heyo, today I'm going to tell you what I think are the top 5 credit cards for beginners. I'll be telling you what a credit card is, how it works, and the fees that you might incur, but also how to avoid these fees. If you already know what a credit card is, I'll put the timestamps down below so that you can fast forward that part. Be sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the video. Firstly, a credit card is very similar to a debit card, but it's not linked to a bank account. When you open a bank account, you get given a debit card to spend money on it. You used to be given a checkbook and you could write checks and the money would come out of your account. But obviously with a debit card, you pay for something with your card and the money comes out of your account straight away or within 2 to 3 days, depending on when you make the purchase and how long it takes to process. With a credit card, it's a separate card from any provider. You can make a purchase on your credit card and then use your bank account or your debit card to pay off that credit card. Be sure to pay off your credit card each month so that you don't incur interest, because obviously if you don't pay off your credit card regularly, the banks will charge you interest and charge you more money to use that credit card. Before you apply for your first credit card, it's best to do a few things in advance to improve your chances of getting a credit card. Firstly, make sure you register to vote on the electoral roll for your constituency. It's also best to have some monthly payments leaving your account each month, such as a phone bill or Spotify or Netflix or any kind of monthly subscription, like a gym membership. This will improve your chance to get given a credit card, as it shows the banks or the provider that you can be quite responsible and make those payments on time and not miss any payments. It's also worth noting that you have to be 18 to get a credit card. It doesn't matter if you're a student or an apprentice or you have a full-time job or no job, but you do have to be 18 to get a credit card in the first place. When you get your first credit card, you'll be told your credit limit. This is the maximum that you can spend on your credit card. If you spend more than this amount, you'll either incur large fees or the provider or bank might just block the transaction from going through. The best advice is to stay below this credit limit by a good amount. The lower you stay on this limit, the lower your credit utilisation is. A bank likes to see a low credit utilisation to show that you're really responsible and trustworthy with the credit card and that you're not maxing it out each month. But obviously you do have to spend some money on the card each month to show that you're actually using it, and obviously this way your credit score will increase. The less money that you spend each month, the faster your credit score will increase, because obviously you're using a lower credit utilisation. In the UK, a credit score is a score out of 999 that shows the bank or lender or provider how trustworthy you are with spending money. When you have no credit, you start with a score of around 450, and obviously you can increase this to show that you're trustworthy, but obviously if you miss payments or don't pay on time, this score will decrease and it will show that the bank that you're not trustworthy. If you have good credit or a high score, a bank will give you cheap rates on car finance and mortgages and any other kind of loans. If you have bad credit, they'll give you really expensive interest rates or just flat out refuse you. Someone with good credit might get a car loan of between 3 and 8%, and someone with bad credit might get a car loan for between 10 and 30 or 50% interest. It's best to set up a direct debit to pay off your outstanding amount in full each month. This way you can avoid any kind of interest or charges and also make your credit score better instead of worse. I advise setting up the direct debit for a few days after your payday. Say if you get paid on the 30th or the 31st of each month, maybe set it up for the 3rd. This way you can make sure that you won't spend all of your salary before your direct debit comes up. It'll be one of the first things that comes out of your account so that you can guarantee it's paid off in full each time. So what are the advantages to getting a credit card? The first advantage is that you can time your spending. Let's say you've got something that's coming up, such as car insurance or a car repair. You don't currently have the money in your account right now, but you will after payday. So you can obviously use your credit card to pay for this car insurance or car repair or just something urgent right here, right now, and then obviously at the end of the month, after payday, you can pay off your credit card. This way you don't have to wait 2 or 3 weeks or even 4 weeks to repair your car. You can repair it straight away and just pay for it later. Credit cards are also very beneficial because they're covered by the Consumer Credit Act. This is where if you pay for something and feel like you've been scammed or you're the victim of fraud, the credit card company will reimburse any amounts that you've paid up to £30,000. Therefore, obviously, if you lose any money, such as being scammed or being a victim of fraud, the credit card company will actually give you your money back as a refund. If you've enjoyed the video so far, leave a comment down below, let me know what kind of videos you want me to make in the future. Alternatively, if you've got any questions about credit cards or credit score or any kind of credit card related queries, drop them down below and I'll be sure to try and answer them if I can. There's also some disadvantages to credit cards though as well. Obviously, if you've got given a credit card and you have a really high credit score of say £5,000 or £10,000, you might feel the urge to go and splurge on something that you don't need and can't afford, such as a really expensive holiday or something designer. You can get into debt really quickly this way, and it can be really hard to dig yourself out and pay off the credit card, because you'll be incurring interest each month at quite a high percentage, usually around 20%. Now, let's talk about the top 5 credit cards for beginners. At number 5, we have the NatWest Student Credit Card. This credit card is only available to students, but it does come with the benefit of 2 months of interest-free credit. This means that for 2 months you don't have to repay any amounts that you incur on your credit card because you won't be incurring any interest. Obviously you can repay it within 2 months, but you don't have to because there's no fees and no interest charges. This card comes with a £500 credit limit, which is quite low, but it does increase over time. You also don't need any minimum income, which means you don't have to be earning a salary to be given this credit card. But you do need a NatWest student bank account. Next up, at number 4, we have the HSBC Student Credit Card. This one's also only available to students, but it does come with the advantage or benefit of cashback. Cashback is obviously where you spend money, the credit card will actually give you additional money to spend. So let's say you spend £1,000 on your credit card. HSBC will actually give you £10 back or £10 for free to spend on whatever you like. This card also comes with a £500 credit limit, but obviously if you pay your amount on time each month, the credit limit will increase over time. You also don't need a minimum income for this credit card, but you do need the HSBC student bank account. Number 3, we have the Aqua Classic credit card. This one has a credit limit of £1,200, which is obviously much higher than the previous cards, which is obviously a bit nicer to have a more flexible credit limit to buy things that you need. Obviously if you've got a car repair coming up, this might actually exceed £500, and therefore it's nicer to have a bigger credit limit to be able to afford to pay this amount. They also accept people that have bad credit. This is obviously worse than having no credit, and is when your score is below 450. This is really good because if you've missed a payment or two, they'll give you the opportunity to repair your credit history and prove that you're a reliable spender. For this card, you also don't need to have any minimum income, and it also doesn't matter what current bank account you have. This credit card isn't limited for students and is available for everyone, as long as you're over the age of 18. At number 2, we have the Tesco Bank Foundation Credit Card. This one has a credit limit of £1,500, which is obviously higher than all the previous cards we've had, which is really good because obviously it gives you more flexibility to spend a little bit more on the credit card if you need to. This also comes with the advantage of being able to earn Tesco Club Card points and vouchers. The Foundation credit card actually earns the Club Card points and vouchers faster than a regular Tesco's Club Card that you just scan at the till. The regular Tesco's Club Card earns 2 points for every £1 that you spend, whereas the Foundation credit card I think earns 4 points for every £1 that you spend. This credit card also isn't tied to a specific bank account, therefore obviously if you're not a student you can still use this card. But you do need to have a minimum income of £5,000, which is obviously quite low if you're in full-time employment, as the average wage is around £20,000 per year. And in at number 1, as our best credit card for beginners, is the Barclaycard Forward credit card. This credit card has a £1,200 credit limit, which is obviously slightly lower than the past credit card, but it does have a whopping 3 months of 0% interest or interest-free period. This means that obviously if you need to buy something that's quite pricey, like a sofa or a holiday, you can effectively pay for it over 3 months without incurring any interest. You can also have up to 1 CCJ, which is where you failed to make a payment because you didn't really want to, and the county court has actually judged you reliable to make this payment, otherwise they'll have bailiffs come and collect items from you up to that value. So this credit card is also great for people that have bad credit or that have made a mistake in the past and want to repair and fix their credit score. For this credit card, you do need to have a minimum income of £3,000 a year, which is also really quite low and lower than the previous example as well. So there we have it. Let me know what you think of my top 5 credit cards, and leave a comment below to let me know if I've missed any or if you think you know of a better credit card. Also, subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell so that you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. I upload a new video every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. Cheers.